Hey, how's everybody doing? Michael Romasanta again, back for another exciting, wonderful beta read. This is going to be amazing. First and foremost, huge shout out to Hanif Muhammad for giving me permission and the liberty and the wonderful, wonderful bestowal of having me beta read, Sarah Stryker before the quest. Wow. Oh my goodness, this should be interesting. Now, I actually got two beta reads to do today and some fiver ones that I'm working on as well. The difference between these before, in case anybody's ever seen these before, these are speed beta reads. This is me looking at this for the very first time. Okay, I'm a 5-star beta reader, ghostwriter, editor, and 4-time published author. Let's get those plugs out of the way. Bright, Dreadful Sun. Oh my goodness, third book, wonderful. Who doesn't like reading some genuine horror? Not Every Star in the Night. Oh my goodness, so beautiful. And of course, the Yamikage, my first book ever. This is gonna be amazing. Now that the plug is over, let's get to what's important: helping other authors. Okay. It's pretty interesting too. Yeah, this is actually the library copy from your local library. Anyways, let's get to this. So, yeah, I look at these beta reads with fresh eyes. It's like I'm a new reader for the first time, and I'm just going to be kind of critiquing is kind of the word I'm going to use here. I usually use that word for my actual beta reads, which would take hours and hours and hours. What I'm going to try to do is smush all that time into these little allotted slots. It usually works out pretty well. I'm glad you guys are actually liking this too. So, just randomly. This is a random idea. Anyways, yep. So looking at this with fresh eyes, just gonna go ahead and future beta readers that you want to be a beta, you like beta reading. Here's how you do it. You got to give a nice balance between critiques, constructive criticism, and compliments, because there is always a gem underneath the coal, and there's always a diamond covered in coal. So we gotta kind of chip it away here. All right, so let's just dive into it. Sarah Stryker before the Outcast. Okay, so we're centered around a main character. It looks like in the title. Before the Outcast. Could this be like a series? Maybe it can, maybe it can't. I don't know. But yeah, so we have a subtitle separated by a colon, which is kind of interesting. I would take that. What I would do is, from an editor perspective, I'll take Sarah Stryker, then put before the Outcast right underneath it. All right, chapter 1, just jumping right into it. No prologue. Remember, prologue is meant to set the precedent of events before the novel. But today we are just going right into it, and it looks like we're doing something very interesting, a third-person omniscient narrative. Okay, so we're starting off with a setting, which I actually love. I love that. Okay, so one thing that's really good with chapter opens, paragraph opens, even book opens, is firing on all cylinders and getting some descriptive setting description. So, we got Springfield, Massachusetts. But what follows is a little bit more ambiguous. So we got a little bit of telling, not showing. This is something that I would kind of redo. So in Springfield, Massachusetts, lay a popular dojo. Okay, I would love to see the name of that. Maybe not right now, but I like prompto. With the most talented fighters from around the country gathered. Okay, the most talented fighters from around the country are gathered in Springfield, Michigan. Springfield, Massachusetts. So a little bit of telling, not showing. Kind of just throwing us off the deep end. A lot of people have that kind of tendency to just kind of really throw people into the story. Sometimes that works. Just make sure you're getting that action in order. So with this being said, I would redo this first sentence. Focus on sensory detail. Focus on setting the aesthetic. Like maybe if this is going to be more of an action-packed novel, I would start using more action words. So with that being said, popular dojo in there, I would love, we're beginning with a setting. I would love to know why. And we're going to follow with why. It was midsummer and today is the fiercest competition to make themselves known. Okay. So the fiercest competition. What is the name of that competition? What is this? There's so many competitions that happen. If we're going for a Karate Kid type thing, Karate Kid's not a novel, but know that it has its own aesthetic to it. Like when you watch that movie, everything from the sets to the background characters, they're all working together. So let's make sure all these fighters, everybody in this group is working together. All right. So the students measured, divided into two groups. So, ladies and gentlemen, look at this. This first entire paragraph is a lot of telling when we should be setting the aesthetic here. We should be focusing on the mood and the feeling. What we have here is the telling, not showing. So this is the way I kind of like to kind of say this is when you're telling, not showing. It's kind of like you're poking the reader. You know what I mean? You're like telling them what they're doing when you should be showing, presenting this through like detail and all that. So there was a single male. Each was divided. This, that, and the other. So it's like kind of these first paragraphs, you don't want to just kind of throw too much info dumps. Don't want to be poking so much. Focus on creating a mood. And I think that although it's very doing a good job with the narrative explaining and setting a precedent, let's set a mood to it too. So go ahead and use some sensory detail, use some emotion, use some really just open up these, paint a picture. So the students majored in various martial arts traditions from karate to taekwondo. I study Wing Chun. I would love to see a Wing Chun artist in here. That would be so cool. 8 of them were Asian women with dark hair and all black belts. Okay. So I want to spend time with Sarah Stryker. I would love to start the story with her instead of these strange people. Because what we're doing is we're presenting an entire echelon of characters right off the bat. They're probably background characters. I don't want to spend the beginning of the story in the background characters. What it looks like is happening now is presenting tension, which is something for the rising action. We're in the introduction. So in the introduction, we need to be setting the precedent by what? What are we supposed to do? We introduce the major players. Okay, so what right now, this paragraph here, the students majored in various martial arts and traditions for karate, taekwondo. This is something you would see in the rising action mostly, because it's a little bit just too much detail for this. I want to focus on why this event is happening, who's in charge of the event, who's going to be the main person. I want to spend time with the main character. This is something I would take in the redrafts and put later in the story. Male red belt. Yeah, so I'm looking at this. Heavy blows. Whirlwind. Unloaded a whirlwind, not whirlwind. But that was pretty cool. I like how you're going into the action. That's pretty interesting. I do like a lot of action in those first chapters. Me personally, writing action is very important. You got to use a lot of detail. And here's another thing about writing action as well, is it's kind of like a candy treat. You know what I mean? It's almost like a candy treat for the reader. So when you're reading books, your brain is doing all types of different interesting things. So once an author presents the right neurological stimulating words, and the stimulating circumstances, it's kind of like a little treat. So if you've got this action presented, let it thrive. Let it thrive. Don't cut it off so soon. So we had the male from his 2 weapons. What kind of weapons is that? I'm itching my ear. Oh yeah, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, the screen is over here. This is a tiny screen. That's the big screen. Okay, so the male had 2 weapons. Combatant. A lot of telling, not showing again. It looks like they're in the. It's almost like I'm in the middle of the rising action here, because we have all these events happening. How can I say it? It's like this is something that you would see in the rising action. It's like a declarative event. When instead of introducing the main characters, we're introducing the situation. We shouldn't be introducing an event. What that is for is be called the inciting incident. So the inciting incident will be like, okay, main characters present an introduction, and the inciting incident is, there's going to be this karate tournament that's going to happen in Massachusetts. We've got to train. We've got to get ready for this tournament. So it almost feels like we're starting the story way up the rising action. But because I don't know what the main characters. Okay, so we got a new character, Lauren. Be ready to elevate the character profile. I am going to try to keep this a little bit shorter than the other one. These usually end up being 30 minutes. Everybody wants me to do like hours and hours. I can't do hours and hours. Or maybe not. It's a pleasure. Okay, so here we go. Let's try to get to. There's a lot of word count here, by the way. I at least want to get to one chapter. So she dominated her opponent with such ease. Once again, she dominated her opponent. Show, not tell. That could be a whole paragraph body right there. Really show the movements, the words, the emotions. When you're writing action, you got to be involved. And sensory detail helps with that. Picture yourself in a fight. It's not so telly. It's more showy. Because when you're at a karate tournament, you want to be shown. You want to show their stuff. So she pounded the girl to the ground before lifting him by the throat with a single hand. What is she, the Hulk? Lifting the throat by a single hand? That's illegal, bruh. I would fix that. I don't think that's gonna fly in a karate tournament. Making an example. I'm not making fun of that. I just think it's funny. Not making fun of it. I'm laughing with it because imagine going to karate tournament, someone's just lifting somebody by the throat. That's hilarious. Okay, so we got our first piece of dialogue, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. So wonderful. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. All of you have improved immensely in the past month. You're all on your way to becoming experts in the field. This is a large strip of dialogue. I actually do like healthy dialogue that's a little bit longer like this. Make sure you're including your tags. Make sure you're including a nice, at least one sentence narrative before you're making this beautiful paragraph body. So all of you have improved immensely. You're all on your way to becoming experts on your field. I wonder who you all are. This is what I'm wondering. This is what the introduction for, and I'm hoping these elements come into play right now. We have a special guest joining us. Interesting. Who is talking? That's what I want to know. Who is this character? Looks like somebody named Lauren is right there. But where's the elevated character profile? This is the introduction where you should be presenting, all those details about the major players. Okay. And, it still is the first couple of pages. Maybe it's only the second page. So, it's nothing you got to be riled up about. Dialogue. What this dialogue is doing very, very well is this dialogue is presenting plot movement. So, with that being said, it's not just some guy chit-chatting about nothing. He's saying, okay, look, here's a stimulus. It's coming next. This is going to be a catalyst for the next part of the plot. It's the woman coming forward. So, and there it is, Sarah Stryker. This is what I'm looking for, ladies and gentlemen. That main character presented soon. I would like to start with her as opposed to that little, almost like cameo of little fights that I seemed almost like a little bit irrelevant. Let's see, slight nudge. So get ready to describe her appearance. She ripped the last grape off the vine before placing it in her mouth. That's pretty sweet. Oh my goodness. It's because what that's called is subtext. He's saying something about the character personality through subtext, and that is wonderful. I like that. This is not the time to kind of thrust her into something just yet. Leave a little bit of time to elevate her character profile. Like, show us what she looks like, How does she look like? I want to know everything. I want to fall in love with the character. And this is something that a lot of people really need to nail in their introductions. It's almost like love at first sight. So you really want to, if you fall in love with someone, the first thing you look at is their appearance. And, so let's get a little bit of that. Detailed appearance. Unique characteristic, please. All right, going down. Your Sarah Stryker, as in the Sarah Stryker. I like that. Character voice. So what he's using there is character voice. He's using, capital letters, stylizing to help bring out that voice a little bit. There is a spelling error, but, this is not the editing stage. Okay. It looks like it's the drafting stage, so nothing too crazy to worry about. You are, please. The impressionable sound is there. Okay, here is using sensory detail. That's good. The impressionable sound of their voices brought out the confidence and strength here. Usually, if somebody would say the confident voice, I would say, okay, you could open this up a little bit more. Right here, he's opening it up just quite a bit. The impressionable sound that could really kind of vary. When it comes to sensory detail, I find the more specific it is, the more executed it is. But at least we have impressionable as that adjective here. So the faces dropped as they studied the young woman in front of them. Please get into describing her appearance. Describing everything about it. If this is Sarah Stryker, the series, right now is the time to know everything, but present everything, especially if this is your first book. Take out that first... I'm running out of time here, by the way, but I'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'll try to get as much as I can. And there's already a lot of gold here that is being displayed. But all that cameo of everybody, the Asian girls in the costumes and people held by that thing, get that out of there. Put that in the rising action and get Sarah Stryker as the star of the show. I would love just her first and foremost, actually, as opposed to that little cameo before, but we'll see. Get her appearance in there. Have somebody draw it. You draw it. Picture in your mind. Write a character sheet. Do what you got to do, but this Sarah Stryker character needs to be pictured crystal clear. Chimed in one of the black belts. So we have a little bit of onion chop dialogue, but it doesn't seem bad. It's not like, hey, how you doing? What's that? What he's doing there is he's including this short strips of dialogue, almost the way a screenwriter would do it, in a way that it's you're including the tags. Well, no, I'm not going to say a screenwriter. I would say, moreover, it's shortcut, but it's including those tags, which is good. Depends on the story. So what is she saying here? Pride is capital, decapitalize that. So we've got, and then you then defend it. Okay, so what these side characters are doing, this is pretty cool. What he's doing here is he's bouncing off character. Technically, it is character development. We're developing the character. He's bouncing off character development, off dialogue from other people, which is good. So here's another thing, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to use narratives to describe everything. Like what I was just saying about, her appearance and all that. There's so many ways to go about that. You could start with the narratives, but you could also do exactly this. You could have the other characters kind of describe to her, and he's doing a really good job with this. Oh my goodness. All right, let's see. I'm gonna skip ahead here because we got some dialogue, some nonverbals in the dialogue. That's a good way to elevate your dialogue tags with nonverbals. Curl their lips. Get that description in there. Get that description. That's Sarah description. her appearance. This is what we're missing here, and that's in my opinion. Am I gonna call it a fatal flaw? I would say it's not a fatal flaw, but it's definitely a bruise. Get Sarah described in beautiful detail, beautiful detail. And what else we got? The pride turned on the master. I want to at least get to the chapter out because I'm hitting 15 minutes here. Let's get to the chapter out. I'm skimming. I recommend a book called 10 Days to Faster Reading, which is good. Definitely helps me beta read without losing too much detail. Our minds are feeble. Narratives. And that's, what I'm looking for the kickoff as well. So we got the introduction. Kickoff. Now, what you got to understand as well, ladies and gentlemen, is the rising action is for increasing tension. If there's tension into the introduction or the inciting incident, it's presenting tension, not raising tension. So, with that being said, well, I mean, technically presenting is also raising, but looks like this is something that you would see in almost the midst of the rising action. Keep going. So, yeah, they're fighting, kicking, a lot of action scenes. Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and get that sensory detail in here. You know, how is the crowd making a sound? Is anybody making a sound? Is there heaving, sweating? You know, there's 5 sentences. Well, there's 5 sentences in a healthy paragraph. 5 senses we could utilize to elevate our action. So what I'm saying here is I feel like this is almost like a chart of a fight. Go ahead and elevate this so you're showing, not telling. That's what these little fight scenes are missing. It's missing a lot of sensory detail. The nonverbals in there though, which is good. Lots of telling, not showing. We don't want to tell. We want to show, and that's really tough with action scenes as well. You could also describe the environment. Are they interacting with the environment anyway? That's a good way to do it. Yeah. Okay, get off me, lesson in humility, never underestimate it. Okay, so it looks like it's some conflict here. What I'm looking for is the inciting incident at large. And is it Sarah Stryker showing up? I would say no, because there's no character to bounce that off of. I saw a character named Lauren up there, but that's not what this is. I want to spend time with Sarah as the main character. Lots of skimming. I better go. What? Go already? I'm rather busy at the moment, Sarah said. Right there, I'm rather busy at the moment. The author's doing a great job of presenting a lot of subtext. Like, I just noticed that about Sarah almost immediately. Like, her personality is showing a lot through subtext. So I got a good feeling that is up here. So with the author perspective. So go ahead and manifest that. Go ahead and really put that character. So Sarah said, said is dead. They say it all the time, said is dead. Sometimes said is best. But when you're doing that, when you're presenting a character, especially in the introduction, use those dialogue tags, fire on all cylinders to describe this character, get everything in order with the kind of all the different little tools you have. Okay, kind of going to a narrative. Right here, Sarah Stryker walked down the streets of Springfield. You could utilize a dinkus right before this, but I love that word, dinkus. Dinkus is used to show the passage of time. You can use that there. Just be more specific with the time if you do. So yeah, you want me to cut to the chase? I get it. It's the pride. They're here and they've kidnapped someone. Okay. So pretty interesting. So we have this I feel like kind of Play-Doh. Like Play-Doh. You open it for the first time, it smells good. You stretch it a little bit. Really weird comparison here, but sometimes when you're mixing Play-Doh, it can get really dirty. But if you have nice colors, it can look really cool. My point is, so we start off with like a karate tournament, and now it looks like it's a kidnapping plot. What kind of plot could this be? That seems like the inciting incident. Somebody's gotten kidnapped. Now, will the main character have to go out there and find him? I don't know. But look, and we see Timothy right there at the beginning of chapter 2. Elevate your character profiles. That's another thing too. So 100% elevate your character profiles, especially when the main character is the name of the book. Get that character, make the audience fall in love with that character. Go ahead and maybe draw some comparisons if you want. Maybe literally just draw it out. But yeah, fall in love with the character. Get that influences there. My disk space is running low. Tell them that show. Know where to increase tension and where to present tension. I would eliminate all that those like second and third paragraphs in this chapter. I would come out the gate with Sarah. Almost not necessarily immediately, but with the there's like the karate tournament describing these various contestants and all that. I would move that. I would even push that way to the. I would recommend almost deleting that. Don't do it. But I would say actually almost delete it because this chapter is kind of hefty. Watch out where your word count aim is. You know, sometimes people aim for a specific word count. You don't have to do that. Right now, the genre is a little bit ambiguous. Okay, so you wouldn't want to call this an action novel. We don't say that. We say action adventure. So, with that being said, action adventure, a quest plot. So, if Sarah's going to go on a quest plot to rescue the person, you just be double checking that it's all making sense in the end. Anyways, yep, out of time here. Like, subscribe, keep it moving. Don't stop writing. Pick up the books now. Okay, they're going to be in the description. Thank you so much. And let's keep on writing. Don't stop. And you have just been beta read. Sarah Stryker. Very good. Keep on moving. This is going the right direction. I love the presentation. The presentation's very neat. Get some more action words, some more sensory detail. It's not necessarily about having the biggest vocabulary, the most smarty pants words. It's about having neurologically appealing words, you know, like smells and whatnot. So there's a lot of room for that in here. Good luck.